Hello people. So I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, etc. about how to repair the Tiptronic shifter that loses track of whether it's in tip mode or not. So you've seen the scenario where you drop it into drive and flip it over to Tiptronic, and instead of doing what this car just did in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your manual Tiptronic mode, the sensor doesn't work, and the car therefore just always stays in drive because the display and the operational aspect never change from this mode. But I have a different problem. My problem is that the sensor works, as you can see, but when I drop the shifter into drive, the little bearing underneath, there's a spring and a bearing underneath here that keeps this locked over to one side when you choose for Tiptronic, and it clicks. You know, it has a little spring. You can feel a tension. It's kind of like going over a gentle hump, and it's supposed to lock in both sides. Well, that spring or clip is broken, and the part is not so expensive, but the labor is massive to replace that part. I've done it once years ago, but on a 19-year-old car with so many miles on it. It's got 225,000 miles, 560. That's a lot of miles, right? So the Blue Book value of the vehicle is only about $2,000 in excellent condition, which is what mine is otherwise than this. So I'm going to show you how I took care of this problem, both on the Tiptronic side and if the driver chooses to drive it in just manual mode. So I'll show you how easy this is. Step one, pull that key so it doesn't beep. The fix, if you want to keep it in Tiptronic mode, I mean, it's ridiculous. What's one of these cost? $5? Check it out. Gonna hook it to the passenger door handle, and I very seldom drive with a passenger in this car. I have other vehicles that I drive that are bigger when I want passengers. So now all I've done is hook it to the gear shift and to the door handle, so when I drop it into that mode, voila, the cord just, you can go into any other gear you want. You know, you can bring it all the way down and obviously it stays there, but as soon as you bring it to drive and let go, the bungee cord keeps it in place in Tiptronic mode, and that's the way I like to drive the car. But then you've got the other folks who just like can't stand anything that's not super easy, and all they want to do is drive it like a standard automatic vehicle. Well, let me show you how I solved that problem. Here's all you need. Little scrap piece of wood, okay? It's about, 3/8 of an inch thick. If you have a 1/4 inch piece, then you won't have to do as much sanding as I did or planing. So you got that. You grab a saw, you take the measurements, you cut a little square, rectangular piece that about matches the size of the area that I need to form it in. And then you just take a rasp and you start working the edges of it down to round off the corners and to bevel it, because it's kind of about a 30-degree incline bevel from the surface down to the area where it meets the deck of the shifter area. So you start with the rasps to get the big edges off. Then you move to the file, you start working it down a little bit more. And last but not least, you got some nice gritty sandpaper. And literally 20 minutes of work, you have a nice little rectangular oval piece of wood that fits perfectly in the area that keeps it out of Tiptronic mode. Then all you do, I grabbed a piece of this foil tape. It's got the backing on it that you just peel off. So you drop your piece of wood on top of the tape, use your pen, draw a little circle around it to mark it, use your scissors to cut the tape out exactly to fit the top of your wood, and stick it on there. So now you've got a nice little piece of foil that completely matches this hole. And Drop it in there, give it a little push, it snaps in. You could even put some Velcro on there to secure it. But from that point, all I got to do, once that's secured in there with Velcro or tape or glue or however you want to do it, depending on if you want to pop it in and out, you can do it very easily and just let it sit there while you drive. But if you just want to leave it there permanently, yeah, you put a little Velcro or something on there to make sure it doesn't drop out. And then all you got to do is put it in gear. And even with the that part underneath that's broken, as you can see, the gear shift's never going to be able to slide over accidentally into Tiptronic mode. It's just going to stay in the normal drive channel all the time. Piece of cake, guys. Go do it.